Hello y'all, this is Kaiserredux, a Hearts of Iron 4 mod that is essentially an unofficial standalone expansion for Kaiserreich. Kaiserreich is set in a timeline where the Central Powers were victorious in World War I. With all that explained, this video will act as part 1 of a Vietnam Coconut Monk path playthrough. Before we even play as Vietnam, we have to play as German East Asia or Deutsch Ostasian. And right here we gotta read this event carefully, and it says Berlin appoints new government. Though Helmuth von Muck has dutifully served the Kaiser in his position as interim governor of the colony following Albert Ballen's tragic death, a new permanent governor must be decided, and that is a duty for the Kaiser and the colonial office to handle. Petitioning Berlin will take time, however, and so we must wait for their reply. It is widely believed that there are 3 main candidates that the Kaiser and his aides have in mind for the position. The first is the most obvious, and that would be to keep von Muck on as full and permanent governor, a no-brainer to most, given von Muck's storied naval career and dutiful service. However, 2 other names have been floated, being the notorious aristocrat Prince Johannes of Waldeck and Piedmont, and the honored General August Wilhelm Hay. Both of these men would also likely be great leaders for the colony, each having long careers in services to the Kaiserreich and ample military experience. However, the choice is up to our liege, and we await their word eagerly. So let's go with Helmuth von Muck, and he will be officially confirmed by Berlin. And after this, we have a few more, I think like a couple more events, or at least one more event to go through before Indochina tries to break away from German East Asia, because they don't want to be a colony no more, essentially. One thing we will have to do for certain if we are to play as Vietnam at all is that we must collaborate with local elites in the focus tree as well as the Bao Dai solution. This one is extremely important, and it says here, when we took possession of the French territories after the Weltkrieg, it was decided that Emperor Bao Dai would remain in his position as the Emperor of Annam under our guiding hand. He now requests a series of reforms to revitalize the ancient imperial system, and it says we shall see if we can grant him these, and this will give us some base stability and political power. I believe for the Bao Dai solution thing to work out for us so that we can play as the Vietnamese state, we will have to go along with Bao Dai's reforms, and it says here, having ascended to the throne, Bao Dai has recruited several reform-minded figures into his court, including neo-traditionalist intellectual Phan Quyen and Catholic administrator Nguyen Dinh Diem. Now his ministers have decided to initiate an administrative reform to revitalize the dysfunctional bureaucratic system. Currently, the Mandarins in the Protectorate of Annam only nominally run the country, while their European advisors hold true power. Bao Dai's reform will certainly damage the European monopolization of power, and it is necessary, so we'll go along with that choice. Here we have another event about Bao Dai's reforms. This one is the second step. After the administrative reform, Bao Dai's cabinet has begun to further centralize power. The recent turmoil in Indochina offers him a good excuse. He implores us to grant him authority to set up an imperial police force. Bao Dai and his ministers argue that only imperial police carrying order from the imperial coordinate way can effectively pacify the disobedient peasants and restore order at Annam. Sure, it will help. Now, there is a very crucial event for us to be able to play as Vietnam, and make sure you answer this event right, otherwise the Indochinese revolt may not happen at all, which is what happened to me, and I had to start over, basically. And so there will be some slight differences between this playthrough's world and the original one, but it's nothing to worry about in the grand scheme of things, though. But it says here, Binh Dinh province, the home of Tay Son rebellion, is witnessing a dramatic escalation of its peasant movement. Demonstrators initially demanded an end to corvée labor, an equivalent to serfdom, but when they were ignored by the local administrators, angry peasants began to burn down administrative buildings, town halls, and railway stations, destroy tax registers, and pillage police stations. The local administration has been paralyzed, and associations called communes have been formed, and the movement has begun to spread to other provinces in southern Annam and Mekong. Clearly the Viet Cong are behind all these movements, and from this we need to choose to send in the troops and not deal with this peacefully, otherwise things may not go like the way we want to. So send in the troops, and this will cost us a little bit of political power, well, a little bit of like minus 50 political power, so not too much, and it will also cost us manpower. So with that done, the Indochinese Union should pop up very soon, and so will Vietnam after that, cause of the choices we made. And ignore that event there. Okay, the Rand Rebellion succeeds in South Africa or something like that. So the Saigon Uprising is happening. We're not going to play as these guys, and we need to just choose to fight them as German East Asia. Form an offensive line just to make things easier for us, since we're going to be playing as Vietnam very soon. And it is very critical to their focus tree. It is utmost important that they defeat the Indochinese Union. So, well, alongside the German East Asians. And make an offensive line now, good, and have them go on the attack. And so we had the Bao Dai solution. Get rid of this stuff back here, and read this now. The Bao Dai solution, with Cochin China falling to the Viet Cong and guerrillas rising everywhere, the whole of Indochina is in a state of emergency. Local elites and anti-syndicalist nationalists have rallied behind Emperor Bao Dai and proposed a solution. If we honor the Protectorate Treaty, which means granting the Nguyen dynasty greater autonomy in Annam as well as Tonkin, they will help pacify the rural areas, mobilize local resources, and defeat the rebels. Otherwise, the prevalent anti-colonialist sentiment will give the Viet Cong an edge. Bao Dai's missive ends ominously, stating that if Germany doesn't respond to Vietnamese nationalism, every village will be a nest of resistance, each former collaborator an enemy, and your officials and colonists will themselves seek to leave this atmosphere, which will choke them. And from this event we'll say Bao Dai will lead Annam to peace and order, and that will switch us over to the Empire of Vietnam. Now we're playing as the Protectorate of Annam, and we have three national spirits, and they are rural insurgency, ineffective army, and rampant illiteracy. And the ruling party is an absolute monarchy of it's a paternal autocracy, and we can switch between the Emperor and the Prime Minister, which is interesting. And now let's grab our 4 militia units here, move them down to the front lines with Indochina, where our aim is going to defeat them. Well, that's our plan alongside German East Asia, and we'll help them out slightly because that will basically secure our independence effectively. Free military factories, start making some rifles, please. Also recruit a few militia, because we need soldiers fast. In the focus tree, let's start doing... we can't do anything yet. We can't do nothing yet. Oh well. Give that time. We're a puppet of German East Asia. Is that how this works? Okay, the Imperial Council assembles. Alright, then let me read this. With the Viet Cong rising in the south, the flames of insurgency has been spreading in all 3 regions of Vietnam. This is Vietnam's darkest hour, but our country will be and must be saved with the Emperor's iron will and iron fist, but he cannot do this alone. To help guide the nation through these difficult times, the Emperor has assembled a privy council of German advisors, local politicians, and religious leaders. An unlikely coalition between democratic parties and the Confucian traditionalist Pham Quan, I'm not going to pronounce these names right throughout this playthrough probably, urges the Emperor towards a moderated stance to gain the trust of the population during a time of crisis. Representing the small yet influential Catholic minority and the ambitious Governor Dinh Dun Diem, who advocates for a heavy-handed approach toward dealing with the rebellion. Pham Kong Tak, spiritual leader of the Cao Dai movement, has urged the Emperor to call upon a mass movement towards defeating the Viet Cong insurgency. The Ostasian attaché has also made the Emperor well informed about the colonial government's benevolence as well as the fruits of continued cooperation with the Reich. While these varying groups are all united towards preserving the nation, it is the Emperor alone who must first decide the uncertain future of the Empire. Long live the Nguyen dynasty, long live the Emperor. And this will complete the focus. Convene the Imperial Council. So that is that now. And we have convened a council. We'll now start doing the focus. Let me see here. We'll do, let me see, secure Ostasian aid. No. Let me raise a national army. That will take 21 days. In the focus description it says, while the fires of revolution burn ever brighter in Indochina, we cannot expect to rely on our severely outmanned militia forces to help maintain order. The Imperial Council has been called again to devise a plan to mobilize an effective fighting force that is capable of defending our homeland from the encroaching Viet Cong forces, and once this is done, we'll get 2,500 manpower as well as 6% base force support and an event called Gearing Up the Military. So that's going to be done now. Let's head to the front lines to fight against Indochina, who is gaining quite a bit of ground. Germany, what are you doing? I need more help here, please. Where are you going, pal? Germany, Stasia, what are you doing? What are you doing? Help me out here. Hold the line. Dig in here around Dulak. Come on, don't lose ground. We're already losing ground. Germany, don't just... Your troops are leaving Germany. Oh my goodness gracious. They're in a war and they want to go garrison places. Of course. Oh well. Keep defending though. Don't lose a port. Don't lose the port. Don't lose the port. Defend the port. Hold the port. We lost the port. Good job, guys. Good job. Where's my divisions? All of them are down there? Where are they all at? They're encircled, aren't they? Yes, yes, they are. They need to get way out of there. Get out of there. Get out of there. Get out of there. No, don't do what you're doing. Go this way. Go this way. Go this way. Gathering up the military. It says... Well, gearing up the military. And it states here, in order to defeat the Indochinese insurgency, the Council has been tasked with building up a military force from scratch. The German East Asian government, well, the Ostasian government, has already offered their help to train an elite group of Vietnamese soldiers, but nationalists are advocating the creation of a more independent force based on local police forces and imperial guards. Religious groups have proposed that we mobilize the masses for our anti-syndicalist war, calling upon religious militias from the Saudai and Catholic communities. So let's choose to mobilize the masses, and this will drift the council closer towards religious movements, and that will make the popularity of national populism rise. So assemble these troops here, please. Help out on the front lines. We cannot go down. We must hold as much as we can, please, on the lines we have established. Go over here. Yes, I hope those units that got encircled, I hope they can get out. I really hope they can. But I'm not seeing it. The Tonkin militia and the Tonkinese rifles might be destroyed, unfortunately. If they can't escape, it's bad. Take that port, take the port, take the port. Take that port, please. Take the port. Take the port from Dalat. Get to that port below Nha Trang. Capture it, please. Go. Those guys are not going to be able to make a way out. I don't see it. Not good. Here's a new militia, though. Good. Yes, we have a fair amount of militia, so we can't afford to take some casualties, but not too many. That is frustrating. Germany, we were very dependent on you helping us out here. It seems like you kind of left, and that is unfortunate. Now in the focus tree, let's do reform the administration. That will take 21 days, and the Bin Xuan offer their support. It says here, with our infantile Vietnamese National Army finding itself outgunned and outmanned by the Viet Cong revolutionaries, the Imperial Council has sought out the support of various militias that operate within our borders. We have received a delegation from Bin Xuan, a paramilitary force operating within our largest cities. Originally founded in the early 20s as a band of petty thieves and criminals, Bin Xuan has since then transformed into an anti-communist army led by its charismatic young general Li Van Vian. General Vian and his Bin Xuan forces have agreed to join our fight against revolutionaries under the condition that their army remains an autonomous force within the Vietnamese National Army. Many within our council support this move, while others believe that granting these paramilitaries too much freedom could set a dangerous precedent. We need every ally we can get. Actually, I don't know. Would be a good idea? No, let's just choose not to let them join us, and from this we'll get some base stability as well as base war support. And while only a crisis is happening over in Europe, don't worry about that. And I need to join a Kaiser Wilhelm Society. Why not? We need to hold the line here. We're going to lose a couple of divisions. The Germans launched a naval invasion at Saigon. Goodness gracious, nice job. But please, we're going to lose another division here. Oh my goodness. Come on, guys. Come on. Make an offensive line here. Retake the territory we lost. Do that. Please. Get some steel from Germany. I don't have factories, don't I? Okay, do we have at least military factories? Oh, we have 2, yeah. Germany called us in to help them. I am not... Oh my goodness gracious. I don't care about Wallonia. Let me focus on what I'm doing, my goodness. Let me go ahead and turn this off for the sake of having it off. I don't want anything to do with Wallonia. Now we have the Exodus. What is this about? Okay, let me read this here. It says, fearing the fate at the hands of the cruel and godless Viet Cong, people from across Vietnam have fled their homes in the countryside and have poured into urban cities, such as Hanoi, seeking asylum. Fearing an emerging crisis, the Imperial Council has been tasked with dealing with these refugees. The moderate constitutionalists within the council have proposed that we should resettle the peasants in the villages that are in areas that are firmly under our control. Governor Nguyen Diem has suggested we should move these peasants into state-of-the-art defensive hamlets that we can resist the Viet Cong insurgents. Religious sects such as the Sao Dai have put forward a plan to convert these refugees into militia forces that will be able to fight for the lands that were stolen from them by the Viet Cong. How should we deal with these refugees? Let's choose to make them, well, let's go new settlements shall become our battle bastions, and this will drift the council closer towards an absolute monarchy, and it will give us higher popularity for paternal autocracy as well as authoritarian democracy. So we're going to do that. We're going to do that instead of going toward the constitutional monarchy path or the religious movement route. So do that now. That is done. We still have to win this war. I hope it goes well. It should, considering we have Germany's Asia on our side, and they had that big naval invasion that took Saigon. But with that, I think what I'm going to do now is end what is part 1 of my Vietnam Coconut Monk Path playthrough in the Hearts of Iron 4 mod Kaiserredux here. If you enjoyed the mod, you can check it out in the video description. A link to it is there. If you enjoyed the video itself, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe.